What is it like going from a 10 Newton meter wheelbase to a 23 Newton meter wheelbase? So in this video, I'm going to talk about what it feels like making that jump, what my expectations were, and how I felt before and after receiving it. So it really is a discussion style video, but I have been asked quite a lot. It's like, what's it like going from a fairly strong wheelbase that is the 10 Newton meter wheelbase to a 23 Newton meter wheelbase? So hopefully I can kind of get my thoughts out there and this can help inform you if you just want to chat or you're just curious. In the background, you're going to see a very fun race, Super Formula Lights at the Nürburgring Grand Prix. It was really, really fun. Excellent race. I almost got taken out by an accident, but I done some like basketball little skeeting around the track to save myself, and some guy almost ended up inside me, which I thought was a net code, but it wasn't. So yeah, but went on to have a cracking race. And in this race, I'm actually getting used to using higher force feedback. It felt kind of wrong, but I could really hold the car where I wanted. So it's a good example to have in the background, and it's fun to watch. So almost died there. Let's get on with it. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the start. So before I got my 10 Newton meter wheelbase, what it felt like having a 10 Newton meter wheelbase, what I felt when I thought it wasn't enough, and then obviously what I feel having more than double the power. So I had a CSL Elite by Fanatec. It's a gear-driven or belt-driven wheelbase. It's 6.8 Newton meters. Fabulous wheelbase. A huge jump up from the Logitech G29 that I was using. Like, unbelievable. Like, I couldn't believe what I was feeling. Huge strength, huge feeling. It was excellent. But obviously, I was looking around. I was getting more into the sport, and I was thinking, I'd like to try out this whole direct drive thing. I mean, people are saying it's laser focus, all this kind of stuff. You can feel the slips fucking 10 minutes before they happen. It's like, all right, calm down. I'll give it a go. I couldn't try it anywhere. That was the problem. Couldn't try it anywhere. There's no shops near me at the time that I knew of that had these wheelbases in stock that I could try. I didn't have any friends that had wheelbases like that, so I didn't know anyone where I could try it. So I had to do about a year and a half worth of research. There's half a year of just looking, half a year of looking and wanting, and then the last half of the year is like, okay, I have intent to buy, so I'm just going to verify all my research. So probably every review on YouTube, I watched them 3 times, like absolutely. Like, and there's top reviewers like Boosted Media, Lawrence de Soswa. I was watching these guys over and over again, just being like, I think I need this wheelbase, and just absorbing all that kind of stuff. And I landed on Sim Magic. That seemed like the safest bet. Everyone was super happy with them. So I thought, you know what, that's where I'm going to put my money, because it's a lot of money to spend at the end of the day on a wheelbase and a wheel. So I went with the Sim Magic Alpha Mini and the Sim Magic FXC Pro, a Formula style wheel. Absolutely bomb. When I first got my Sim Magic Alpha Mini, it was a nice feeling because I took the stuff out the box and I instantly felt reassured, being like, okay, all the research you did, everything, all your money you put into this, it was worth it. Because when I took the FXC out of the box, it felt pure premium, absolutely premium. And the price wasn't expensive for what it was compared to other things in the market. So I was delighted with that. I lifted the direct drive motor out of the box, gave it a spin, the light came on, like a generator or whatever. And I was like, whoa, this thing is a monster. You know what I mean? Like, picking that thing up for the first time was like, geez, you could do damage with this. So I was absolutely impressed with my Sim Magic Alpha Mini. Fast forward a little bit, get it on the rig. I'm using it. It's incredible. Obviously incredible. It's too strong for me, though. The 10 Newton meter is way too strong for me. And I don't mean that in the sense that it's too strong as in I physically can't turn it. I wasn't prepared to race with strength that much, if you get me. I wasn't used to racing and training and practicing with high-powered wheelbases as such. So I had that thing in about 40 or 50%. Slowly but surely, I started getting used to it, and I started figuring out what the car wanted. I started oversteering by accident, so I realized I'd like more force to prevent me from literally oversteering, and that way I could really hang onto corners a bit harder. Within about 9 months, I found myself up at the top of the Alpha Mini's capabilities. I had it maxed out. I was frequently clipping on purpose because I just wanted to use the most I had in the low-speed corners, the mid-speed corners, and then sometimes in a high-speed corner when the car would load up insanely high, you'd actually see a flick of force feedback clipping. So, I was getting used to this, but this had this thought in my mind where I was like, I do regret getting the Alpha Mini. Probably the Alpha would have been a better spot. I didn't beat myself up too much about it because I knew at the time I was coming from a CSL Elite. So the jump I made was, it was massive. It was humongous. Like, it was really, really big of a jump to make. And I was super happy with that jump. But then I started thinking I needed more. The regret started sitting in. I was like, will I sell it? Will I just maybe get something in between? And this kind of came and went for a while, and that's kind of a testament to how high quality and how amazing the Alpha Mini actually is. The Alpha Mini is perfect for 90% of people. So throughout this video, if you're looking to get an Alpha Mini, don't let me dissuade you and be like, oh, I don't want to get the Alpha. It costs a bit more money and I'd like to put that towards the steering wheel, or I'd like to not spend that at all. So the Alpha does seem good. The Alpha is an incredible wheelbase. I had it on a TR160 and it was just amazing. I came from a rig that was kind of flexy. I got a new rig. It's like the whole wheel came back to life. Absolutely came back to life. It felt stronger because I wasn't losing power in the rig. It felt, I could feel more fidelity, all little details, the little granular, tiny little things in my hands because I wasn't losing them in the rig. So it's like it was reborn all of a sudden. It felt like a completely different wheel. So if you are looking to get a wheelbase, do think about what you're mounting it on, because if it's more rigid, you're going to feel more. Simple as, you get better value out of your wheelbase if it's mounted to a non-flex surface. So it was amazing, but then I did get very curious. I started looking at the Simucube 2 Pro, and really nice wheel. And then just when I brought myself to the line of being like, I might actually buy this, I was thinking, look at this defendant, look at this. Get away from me, man. This ain't yours. What did I do here? Did I get it? Of course I got it, didn't I? I was on fire this race, I was. Anyway, yeah, the Simucube 2 Pro was way, way, way too much money, because then you had to factor in a wheel, which is another grand. And I'm sure it's a great wheelbase, but it's not $3,000 good. I don't think so. I was looking at Race Beyond Matter, his videos. I should have included him in the top 3 review goats for me personally. Race Beyond Matter, Lawrence DeSazzo, and Boosted Media. In no particular order. They're all amazing in their own way. Race Beyond Matter had loads of videos about how he had the Simucube 2 Pro and then he went to the Alpha Ultimate. And I was thinking, wow, really? And he was saying in the videos that, when you factor in the price, this is half the price. And the Simucube 2 is great, but no one can afford it. Unless you really have a lot of money to blow, no one can really afford that in reality. Whereas SimMagic, with their classic, high performance, low price, in kind of comparative, to other things, in the price to performance context of it all, SimMagic are offering absolute gold. So I started looking more into his videos that I've already seen before, and I kind of landed on the Alpha Ultimate. I'm like, right, no, I'm gonna get that. I have some wheels. I like the ecosystem. I love the Alpha Mini. I just wish I had more power. So I knew what I was jumping into. It was less risky, less cost, and absolutely high performance. So I didn't buy it because I was like, nah, I had other things to spend money on. And this is the funny part. When I started looking at the price, I was actually getting quicker and quicker at iRacing, and I got the new rig. So my 10 Newton meter wheelbase felt better. I was actually in no rush to buy at all. Even though I really, really needed a higher power wheelbase. See you later. I wasn't really in the mood to buy a new wheelbase because what I did was actually, that's it. I spent the money on the rig instead. Super happy with that. Then came along SimMagic. They seen how much I love my SimMagic gear. They decided to become a supporter of the channel, which is amazing. SimMagic, thank you. They don't sponsor me or anything like that. I don't get paid. I don't have to make any reviews. Anything I do is literally out of my own, love for making content. If I want to review something, I do it because I think I'm a tech reviewer, where I just like to say I do observational and opinion-based reviews. So I show you, I press the button, let you hear it, let you make up your own mind about it, But they sent me the Alpha Ultimate, which absolutely amazing. So SimMagic, thank you so much. Honestly, firstly for the belief, and secondly for the support, because that's all this gear and the FX Pro and the wheels and the shifter down here. I would have never cut out the money for that, but it does help me to make better content. So much appreciated. They sent me the Alpha Ultimate then. So this was pretty big because I finally got a chance to try out high power. And it was super strange jumping from the 10 Newton meter that I was actually happy with. I was happy enough with. It would be nice to have more power, but I was actually settled on the 10. 15 would have been perfect, but 10 was like, okay, I can deal with this. It's still a super strong wheelbase. The 23 Newton meter wheelbase came, and it was just so powerful. Way too powerful. So I had to unlearn. Again, I wasn't used to driving with high torque. Same issue with the 10 Newton meter. I had this with the 23 Newton meter. Because I had tried some stuff out in Germany at the Sim Racing Expo. It's not the same when it's at your own rig. This fella came back a bit close. It's not the same when it's not on your own rig. You can't tinker with the settings. You can't, spend the time needed to get used to it. So I went out in Imola in the Super Formulas, I believe. Oh my God. Like, geez, I was turning and I was getting this feeling like, oh no, you're clipping. Stop turning. You know what I mean? When I was like looking up at the bar, this thing never clips because it has so much overhead space in relation to Newton meters of torque. So I was like, okay, wow, this thing really is fine. So it took about 2 or 3 minutes to get over it, and I didn't even have it cranked that high. I just had it set to maybe what felt like 12 or 13 newton meters, which for my old wheelbase would have definitely been in clipping range. This wasn't, and I was laughing to myself. It was a very fun video to do because it was very pure. It was a lot of pure joy in it. I was coming into Aqua Minerale and I was turning hard, super fast, and like the wheel was holding, so I could just come in at such high speed. Yet I could feel everything that was happening. There's no surprises. Where with my old wheelbase, it's like you turn, you clip, you pray. That was the way I had it set up. I had it set too high because I wanted that extra rotation and that extra heaviness in the low to medium speed corners, which I was ready for that trade off. But now we get to the part of what it's actually like after, I don't know, feels like a month I have it, I think, a month. Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little bit less than a month. And I'm absolutely elated with it. It couldn't be better. Does it make you faster? I guess there's an interesting question. I probably should have told you to get a cup of tea before this video. I should have probably got a cup of tea before this video, but hey, here we are. Does it make you faster? That's a good question. A lot of people will say no. Point blank, a new wheelbase, a high-powered, expensive wheelbase won't make you faster. I think the answer is a bit more nuanced than that. There's a bit more to it than no, it won't. That's a bit of a statement. If you go from a Moza R5 to an SE2 Pro, I think there's a bit of a something going on there. So there is the consistency. Like when you're in a high-speed corner and you really crank it in, and to be able to know what you're gonna feel, like with more power, it's more obvious where that, the muscle memory has more to kind of remember rather than like such finer details. You can test this yourself by, let's say if you have a 15 newton meter wheelbase, a 15 newton meter wheelbase, and you're watching this video, go turn it down to like 10% and go out in the Formula car, go out in whatever car you drive and go drive and see what happens. You'll be oversteering, the car will be turning too much and you won't have that feeling. Okay, yes, it's an adjustment period and you probably could adjust, but you can't tell me that, going from 5 to 15 newton meters has no benefit when it comes to consistency, what you're able to do. Like in high speed corners with a higher newton meter wheelbase for myself, it does help me go faster because I can turn in, the wheel loads up mega, yet even though it's on high load, it still has more headroom to give me that detail that I need while I'm mid corner to make the changes that I do. Like let's say I'm entering a corner super high speed, pretty much like this one, and then I get on the brakes and I need to feel what's happening with the car through the wheel on the brakes to feel the rotation I'm doing with the pedal. A higher newton meter wheelbase does help with that. So the answer is no, it does not make you faster. In the same way, load cell pedals don't make you faster in an absolutist way, but they will definitely enable you to go faster if you get me. Two different ways. They won't instantly make you faster, but if you get yourself load cell pedals and a high newton meter wheelbase relative to your arm strength, because be honest, that's what matters here, that kind of thing will enable you to go faster. So it's a very complex conversation. That is, comes down to setup, your training. Time on the track makes you faster. That's simple. Like if you want to go faster, put time on the track. That's the fact. Everything else, they feel nice. It's fun to use. Might make you a little bit quicker overall in terms of consistency, what you're able to do. It's not going to change the game as far as lap time. I'm concerned, because that comes down to training, learning new techniques, and having decent gear can help you absorb those new techniques. But yeah, so that's kind of the debate of like, will it make you faster? Onto just the general feeling of it and how I am 1 month in. It's a pretty interesting one because I'm actually finding myself turning the base higher and higher and higher to a point. I'm not turning it too high where, one, it's hard for me to race with over a long period of time, or two, that when I have a curb strike, or let's say the car spins or does a snap oversteer, I can't save it. But I'm trying to find a sweet spot where it's still pretty stiff because I have noticed, I'm actually going to show you here an example of a corner that I struggle at in this race. So I had the force feedback too low. It was still pretty high for this corner, and this corner never ever felt right. I'm going to swap over to cockpit and I'll show you what I mean. It just never felt right. I wasn't turning in right. I couldn't feel the line, if you know what I mean. There was this turning and I just felt like I had so much more to give. I came back here a few days later and I had the FFB all the way up. And where was I? I was on roll bar. I had the force feedback up and I was just able to see my line or feel my line way sooner than with a lower force feedback. So for me, I guess it does help me kind of feel a line better. So I have more conviction to get on the throttle and know, okay, I can put the throttle down and I'm not going to have to lift mid corner because I can feel where this car is about to go. I can see it through the strength, if you get me. Another great example would be this corner up here, turning in, and you can feel, okay, this is going to track me out over here. I didn't use all the track there because of the accident, but with this corner, being able to feel the line and then it brings you exactly where you want it. That's something the high force feedback can help with. Injuries you got to watch out for. That's pretty true. I was driving and chatting with people, and I had my knuckle kind of on the wheel like this, and the wheel just went, and I was like, ow. Okay, guys, how do you know if you have a broken finger? You know, it wasn't broken. I was just being over the top, but it did feel pretty bad. But yeah, so that's kind of, there's a lot of learning curves to having a high-powered direct drive wheelbase. There definitely is. In total, I think, and I know this is a long video, but it was always going to be this long. If I told you I tried to record this 7 times before, but it never went the way I wanted, it was because I realized this video is not to have any structure. It really is a chat. You know, it's been great. And the jump from 10 Newton meters to 23 Newton meters has been huge. And if you're going to do it yourself, you definitely won't be disappointed. If you're actually in the case that I was and you have a SimMagic Alpha Mini and you're looking to upgrade, I would say there's 2 options you have. Either there's going to be a new wheelbase coming out soon, which is going to be the Up Plus. It's a really cool wheelbase that's coming out by SimMagic. It's a 12 Newton meter wheelbase. They unveiled it at the Sim Racing Expo in Germany. I don't know when it's going to be coming out, but it looks the business. There is also the Alpha, 15 Newton meter Alpha. Personally, I think the 23 is a little bit overkill. If you have the money and you want to remove all doubt from your worries, okay, get the Ultimate. You know, you won't be disappointed, that's for sure. You know, you want to go out in Indy cars and just see what it's like with max force feedback, go on, knock yourself out. This was very aggressive, this was, but both those guys got karma now in a few corners. You know, it is a bit overkill. So it's an art. It's force feedback. It's literally feeling being inputted into your arms. So hopefully this video kind of gives a little bit of context into what went through my mind going from a 10 Newton meter wheelbase to a 23 Newton meter wheelbase. The jump was huge. It was massive. And I guess one thing I could do to be a kind of bit more helpful would be if you have any questions about the jump or any about, you know, I guess going from one wheelbase to another, anything SimMagic, as I do know my SimMagic gear fairly well now. I love it, to be honest. Put it down in the comment section down below or join the Discord, top line in the description. Those guys got murked. Thank God the mirror isn't there, otherwise this video would be demonetized. That was murder that happened back there. But yeah, put your questions down below. I can help you out. And yeah, it is obviously a real artsy discussion because, you know, for some people 10 Newton meters might feel like 10. For some people it might feel like a lot less or a lot more. It depends on your own personal strength, to be honest, and what you're like to be able to adapt to new strengths and then get used to them and then feel the benefit in having that extra strength and being able to operate within that window for extended amounts of time while you're racing and not losing any consistency or fatiguing or whatever, and getting a little workout at the same time, which is kind of cool. So yeah, that is it. A very long video, but it was always going to be a little chit chat like this at the end of the day. So what was it like going from a 10 Newton meter to a 23 Newton meter wheelbase? Fun.jpg.